Hey guys, welcome to Marvel DC Movie News, the best set of Marvel and DC Movie News related accounts on social media. My name is David Hutchison and I'm the owner of the Marvel DC Movie News account on Instagram and the Marvel DC News account on Twitter. And I'm going to let you know, if you have a topic or a comment or a question you want us to address on Instagram or Twitter or on YouTube, then you can email us 24/7 anytime at newsmarveldc@gmail.com. And this is all viewer questions episode that we're doing today, because I've been getting a few questions from email and Instagram, so I'm just going to do that now for you. So let's just jump on it. So the first question comes to us from Adam Campbell, who asks, who do you think will direct Avengers 3? I hope it's not Joss Whedon again. Love the movies though, thanks and keep on posting. Well Adam, I reject the notion, this isn't against you, I reject the notion that a director can't direct another film because he's done it a couple times before. To me, Joss Whedon's an excellent director, and you know, if he's going to bring out, you know, Avengers 1, 2 and 3, that's totally fine because he's a good director. The movies look amazing. So I don't agree with the fact that, you know, a director can't direct a film because he's done it a couple times before. If he's good at it, if he's terrible at it, fine, move on to the next person. But if he's done a great job, like the first film was, and you know, if the trailer was any indication of the second film, then I think we're in for another real treat. Then I'm all for Joss Whedon directing a third Avengers, but we'll see how it does. But more onto your question, who do you think, or who do I think will direct it? That kind of thing will depend on how well the third Captain America film does, and how well Guardians of the Galaxy 2 does, and how well Avengers 2 does, because, you know, the current three names that are being tossed around right now are Joss Whedon, who directed Avengers and Avengers 2, there's the Russos, who did Captain America 3, and there's James Gunn, who did Guardians of the Galaxy. So we'll have to see how those films do, because if Captain America 3 was, if Marvel didn't like the way it was directed, then they're not going to go with the Russos. If Guardians of the Galaxy 2, if they didn't like the way that was directed, they're not going to go with James Gunn. You know, and if they didn't like the way Avengers 2 has been directed, then they're going to go with, they're not going to go with Joss Whedon. So we'll have to see, you know, how these films do. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think all these films are going to do insanely well, because people will go and see them no matter what. So we'll have to see how well they do when they come out between now and 2016, 2017. Okay, moving on to the next question. Comes from @CJ Tumulo, who says, will Skye from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. be in any of the upcoming movies as Ms Marvel? Also, who was the lady in blue in the new Avengers Tower in Age of Ultron? So I'm just going to, you know, questions in two parts, going to take the first part first. This whole notion of Skye being Ms Marvel isn't as crazy as it sounds, because, as you know, it was season 1, she got shot in the stomach, and then she was taken onto the bus, you know, the big plane, ironically, and her life was saved by Coulson and the team. So that was in season 1. But if you look at how she was saved, it's not totally crazy to think that she could be Ms Marvel. You know, there was the possibility, you know, where there was an episode where Lady Sif from Thor, played by Jamie Alexander, came onto one of the episodes, and Coulson asked her if she had ever come across any blue aliens, because Coulson discovered that it was a blue alien that saved his life, or that, you know, was the cause of his sort of revival. So he asked Lady Sif if she'd ever come across any blue aliens before, and she listed off a bunch of blue aliens. One of them was the Kree. You know, not only are these the best known out of the ones she mentioned, but there apparently is reported going to be a Kree character coming up in Guardians of the Galaxy. Or, you know, there was one in Guardians of the Galaxy. We might see some more in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, who knows. So some fans have taken this to mean that the blue corpse that we saw in the actual episode was a Kree, which would sort of provide a feasible origin story connection between Skye and Ms Marvel. So that there may have been a Kree blood transfusion that saved her life, or some people have been speculating that the blue Kree in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was Captain Marvel himself. So I don't know how that's going to play out. We'll have to wait and see. They're obviously going to revisit that concept, and we'll have to see what their whole reason is behind it. But it's not totally as crazy as everyone thinks. I'm going to be honest, do I think it could happen? I'm leaning towards no. I think there is something there, but it's not as crazy as it sounds. So it could very easily be possible. I wouldn't be surprised if that is what happened, but at the same time, I don't think that's the way they're going. Very, very hesitantly. I'm very close to 50-50 on that. And on to the second part of your question. I'm going to bring up a graphic here. So this is a shot from the Age of Ultron trailer that was leaked and then released in HD on YouTube. As we can see, we've got Bruce Banner going from left to right. We've got Bruce Banner, we've got Black Widow, we have Thor, we have Cap, we have Maria Hill. But if you look back beside Thor, there's a woman in blue, and there's been a lot of people asking who this is. People have said it's Skye from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I personally don't think that they're going to bring Skye. I don't think it's Skye. I'll tell you in a minute who it is, or who I think it is at least. But I don't think they would bring in Skye and not bring in anyone else from that show. I think out of all the people that they would bring back in first, I don't think it's Skye. She just seems a bit random. There was a report going around that it is actress Claudia Kim, who has been reported to be playing the scientist and friend of Tony Stark in the movie. As to what her role is, I'm not so sure on that. That's not really been discussed. As to, her role in the whole movie. But that's who I think it is. It doesn't. I can see why people thought it looked a bit like Skye, because it wasn't a very high clear image, so we couldn't really see who it was. People thought it was Maria Hill, but she's obviously further to the. You can see her in the red there over to the right. So I think that it's Claudia Kim. We don't know. I don't know the name of the scientist, the name of the character that Claudia Kim is playing, but that's who I think it is. And I'm loving Thor's casual look, by the way. Instead of his, he's usually in his cape and his gauntlets and everything, but he's got this casual jacket on. And I just think it looks really, really cool. Well, thanks a lot for the question, CJ. And I hope that clears things up for you. Next question comes from at Eddie Jewin 95, who says, what powers will Ultron have in Age of Ultron? Do you think he'll be indestructible in the movies? For those of you who don't know, who are unfamiliar with the sort of comics origin of Ultron and the sort of the comic story, he's got a bunch of different powers in the comics. First of all, he's made of adamantium. But obviously they can't do that in the movies because that's, Fox and Wolverine stuff. So they've made him out of, I believe they're making him out of vibranium, which is what Captain America's shield is made out of instead. So in the comics he's got, superhuman levels of strength, speed, stamina, durability, reflexes, and he can fly unbelievably fast. That's in the comics. I've said this a million times, it's in the comics, doesn't mean it's going to happen in the films. I don't think he's going to have everything that he has in the comics. I think he's going to be a more powerful version of Iron Man. So I think he's going to be able to fly. I think he's going to have enhanced strength, not necessarily enhanced speed apart from when he's flying. I think he's going to be able to fly. Whether the sort of reflexes and durability I think he'll have, but I don't think he's going to be as indestructible. I don't think he's going, in your words, I don't think he's going to be indestructible in the movies. But from the trailer, it's quite obvious that he's going to be a big challenge, and it's going to be really interesting to see how they handle him, because I think that they've done it really well, if the trailer was any indication. Okay, next question comes from JillsAlwen12, at JillsAlwen12. What DC solo film are you most excited for? And if you were to create one DC solo film for any DC character, who would it be? Well, what DC film are you most excited for? I'm gonna say Wonder Woman. Yep, you heard me right, I said it. And here's why. Because, you know, I'm really excited to see how Gal Gadot does as this character. You know, obviously my opinion might completely change after Batman v Superman in 2016. She might be horrible, and then I might not be looking forward to Wonder Woman as much. But right now, I'm really interested to see how she does in her own solo movie. Another reason why I'm really excited for it is because they're looking for a female director. Now, there's only been 2 superhero films, I believe, there's only been 2 superhero films in the past that have been directed by women. That's 1995 Tank Girl by Rachel Talalay, I believe it was, and 2008's Punisher Warzone, directed by Alexi Alexander. So if they are indeed going with a female director, it's going to be, I'm interested to see what kind of take that they will have on the film and the character, and how it differs between that and a male-directed superhero film such as Man of Steel, directed by Zack Snyder, or even the Dark Knight trilogy, directed by Christopher Nolan. I'm interested to see the differences there. So I'm going to say Wonder Woman for, you know, because I'm interested to see how Gal Gadot does in her own solo film and how a female director approaches it. And then to the second part of your question, if you were to create one DC solo film for any DC character, who would it be? I'm going to tell you, I don't think there's any left that well, you know, there's two approaches to your question. One is, out of the, you know, who would you pick a film for that's not had a film already, or that's not getting a film in this new slate that DC have announced? And then the second approach is, you know, obviously there's a lot of films being released by DC, by Warner Brothers between now and 2020. So who would be the one in that slate that I would pick? But, you know, I'm going to tell you, I don't think there's any left that I would personally pick. Because if you look at the sort of, I'll run down the sort of 10, very quickly, the 10 superhero films from DC that I think should definitely need to happen. You know, number 1, you've obviously got Superman, we had Man of Steel. You have Green Lantern, where, you know, a rebooted Green Lantern's coming. I don't know who's going to play him yet, but the movie is coming. We've also got Nightwing. I don't think, I'm just running off DC characters, I don't want to see a Nightwing movie, I really don't. I'm not really that interested in Nightwing. Maybe if it came out and then see who the actor was, then I'd be interested, because, you know, I said the Suicide Squad, when that came out, when that was announced, I didn't care about it. You know, but then I heard that, you know, Will Smith might be attached and Tom Hardy might be attached as well. And I'm getting a wee bit more excited from it, and now Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor might be in it as well, so getting a bit more interested in it now that I'm hearing this cast. So maybe if a Nightwing movie did come out, or it was announced, then I would maybe see, you know, who would be playing the characters and who would be in it. But in general, I don't really want to see a Nightwing movie. We have Shazam. Shazam movie's already coming. We have let me think who else. We have Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad movie is coming. You know, I said that before. I just said I'm not really interested in Suicide Squad, the team, but when the casting news came out, I got a bit more interested in it, and we'll see how that progresses. Who else is left? Batgirl and Supergirl. Don't really want to see a film by either of those, to be honest. I'm fine with the sort of Batman Superman thing, so not really interested in Batgirl, Supergirl. Cyborg solo film's coming as well, I believe. Aquaman, another film's coming. We have Batman. Obviously Batman will probably get his own solo films within this slate. I think we're going to see a Batman film between now and 2020, directed by Ben Affleck, I believe. I think that's what they're going to do it. You know, the way that they're going to go forward with this. I don't think they would have brought on Ben Affleck without, you know, thinking ahead and what he'd be doing in the future. So you have Batman, which, you know, I think we're going to see these films, and then Wonder Woman, and we're obviously getting a Wonder Woman solo film. So I don't think there's anyone left I want to see a film of, as I've just run off the 10 characters that I would have liked to see films of, or 10 DC characters, and I think that's it. So I wouldn't necessarily create films, because most of them are being done already. If it was you know, looking at the existing slate of what ones I would do out of those ones, you know, oh, there's Flash coming as well, isn't there? There's Flash, of course. I would probably do, I mean, realistically, I would do none because I would be a horrible director. I can't direct, I don't have any experience in the field, so I wouldn't do any. But if I was a good director, I would probably choose Flash. Simply because I think he's really cool, and I'm a huge geek for anything to do with super speed. So that's that. Well, thanks very much for sending that in. On to the next question. So this comes from @McGregor_Ian. Says, to start, I really enjoy your Instagram, even though I've never listened to your SoundCloud. Well, that's no problem, Ian. I have a question, and it's a bit of a downer. I'm sorry. What do you think Marvel will do in regards to Stan Lee's cameo when he dies? Do you think they'll have an actor dress like him and still have a cameo, or will they cut it out entirely? I think they should have a picture or a poster in the background and he is on it, like an ad billboard flashes by and his face is on it, or a flyer for some vacation or something like that. What do you think? Once again, love your account and want to hear your opinion. Well, thank you so much, Ian. Do I think they're going to have someone dress up? No, they're not going to do that simply because, you know, that's not a cameo. You know, if it was an Iron Man film and Captain America and a kid dressed as Captain America walks by, you don't say Captain America made a cameo on that, because it's not Captain America. So I don't think they're going to get someone to dress up. I don't think that would be the right way to address this kind of situation in these unfortunate circumstances when they happen. But then you go on to say, you know, they should have a picture or a poster in the background and he's on it. I gotta tell you, man, I agree. I think that would be a great way to pay respect to Stan Lee, and I can see it happening. I can see that being a way that they would go. You know, maybe they have like a running joke where it's, you know, the same poster at the same poster in every film, or a billboard or something like that. I think that would be a really, really cool and fun way to pay respects. So thanks very much, Ian. I think this is the second last question now we're going on to, and this comes from comic.book.movies, who asks two questions. One, what directors do you want to see handle DC properties other than Ayer and Snyder? And two, how would you put Ghost Rider or Punisher in the MCU? So, what directors do I want to see handle DC properties? I want to see Ben Affleck do Batman. That is what I want to do. I talked about it before. I really want to see Ben Affleck do Batman because he is an insane director. He's an insane actor. And I'm really looking forward to him as Batman, looking forward to him in the solo films. I think he's going to do a great job directing, if that's what they do. Nothing is confirmed, this is just me speculating everything, but I believe that's what they're going to do. So I want to see Ben Affleck direct the Batman films, however many there will be. If there's going to be 1 or 2 or 3, I want to see Affleck do them, because he is an insane director. And then going on to your second question, how would you put Ghost Rider or Punisher in the MCU? I'm going to be honest, I wouldn't put Ghost Rider or Punisher in the current MCU because, to me, my personal opinion, they don't fit. They don't fit in the current cinematic universe with Iron Man and Captain America, etc. I don't think they fit. So what I would do is I would do something similar to what DC may be doing with Shazam. Is I would open, you know, there is nothing to say that Marvel can't open another cinematic universe where they have Punisher and Ghost Rider. And even Daredevil. I don't think Daredevil would fit in the current cinematic universe either. So there's nothing stopping Marvel opening another cinematic universe and putting in Ghost Rider and Punisher and having that as its own contained universe. There's nothing stopping them doing that. They could easily do that, and I think they could do it really well. Obviously rebooted after the Ghost Rider with Nicolas Cage. So I wouldn't put them in the MCU at all. I don't think they fit. I would open another cinematic universe and put them in that instead. Thanks very much for your question. And now on to the last question of the day. And the last question comes from @ChewieLol101, who says, number 1, do you think Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. will be in the MCU? MCU, for those you don't know, is Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's where they've got Iron Man and Thor and Captain America. All these movies are all connected, culminating in the Avengers. Do I think Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. will be in the MCU? Number 2, Thanos in Thor 3. The Infinity Gauntlet was in the room in the first Thor, so would Thanos steal it? And number 3, expectations for Age of Ultron now that we have the trailer. Okay, so number 1, yes, I've said this 1,000,000,000 times. I think Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. will be in the MCU. I don't know if it'll be in Avengers 3 or Avengers 4 or whatever, or you know, whenever Coulson comes back. I don't know when that's going to be, but I think yes, they will be in the Marvel Cinematic Universe eventually. There's a reason that they're connected. If they weren't going to be connected, they wouldn't have connected the TV with the movie universe, like DC is doing. DC TV universe and the movie universe aren't connected at all. But I believe Marvel connected them for a reason. You know, obviously there's the reason that Coulson is in both. But yeah, I think I've said this 1,000 times. I think Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. will be in. I think the big sort of crossover movie between Avengers and Guardians will contain Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as well, or maybe even a few of them. Who knows? Number 2, Thanos in Thor 3. It's possible. Never discount the realm of possibility when it comes to Marvel. Everything is possible. And for those of you who don't know about the second part, the Infinity Gauntlet was in the room. It was in Thor. It was in Odin's vault in the first Thor. When I've not seen Thor in ages. When I believe it's the Frost Giants came into the vault and tried to steal the Tesseract, and the Destroyer, you know, the huge metal-made robot fire thing, came out and took out the Frost Giants. There was a tiny glimpse of the Infinity Gauntlet in Odin's vault. There was a bunch of other stuff there as well. You know, you can go back and watch it, or you can go on YouTube and you can see all the things in Odin's vault. But one of them was the Infinity Gauntlet, so don't discount the possibility that Thanos could be in Thor 3. Maybe this whole Thanos storyline was leading up to Thor 3 and not the Avengers. There was nothing to say. Marvel didn't confirm or announce that Avengers 3 was going to be Thanos ever. That's just the way that it seemed. But, you know, it could have just been that they were leading up to Thor 3 instead of Avengers 3. So it's very possible that that could happen. Do I think Thanos would steal it? Maybe. Again, it's possible. You know, at the end of Thor 2, not really spoiler alert anymore because it's been out for ages, Loki was on the throne. We don't know what happened to Odin. We don't know officially what happened to Odin because there's a bunch of stuff going around the internet. You know, he died, he didn't die, so no one really knows. So Loki was on the throne at the end of Thor 2, and maybe he gives the Infinity Gauntlet to Thanos. Who knows? It's possible. Or maybe Thanos comes to Asgard, kills Loki in order to get the Infinity Gauntlet because maybe Loki wants it for someone else. But I believe in the first Avengers, you know, since Loki was with, I can't remember what the name of Thanos' minion or servant guy was. Was it the Other? It's something like that, I believe. You know, they were in talks, and I'll just call it the Other for now. Gave Loki the army, and he's obviously working for Thanos. The Other is working for Thanos, so there is that connection. So maybe Loki got the throne in order to give the Infinity Gauntlet to Thanos. We'll have to see how Thor 3 plays out. I believe in 2017, I think. And on to the last part of the question: expectations for Age of Ultron. And now that we have the trailer, my expectations themselves haven't changed at all. I've been waiting for this movie ever since it was announced, ever since the end of Avengers 1. I've been waiting for the sequel, so that's 3 years or 2 years now I've been waiting for this movie. My expectations have been high ever since it was announced, so my expectations themselves haven't changed. But you know, we all knew that James Spader's voice was going to be the perfect voice for the voice of Ultron, but I don't think I quite realised how perfect it was. When you hear him talking in the trailer, you just realise that this is gonna be an epic villain. You know, when he speaks, he has such presence, and he's just got the perfect voice for this kind of character. So my expectations themselves haven't changed at all. I think it's gonna be really good. I'm so excited. I cannot wait. It's now less than half a year. It's now under 6 months until it hits UK theatres. Sorry about that, America. But I can't wait for in 6 months' time sitting in that theatre about to watch the film. And I know that a bunch of you will agree with me. Well, that will do it for this episode of Marvel DC Movie News. If you'd like to, like I said in the start, if you have a comment or a topic or a question you want us to talk about on any of our social media stuff, then you can email us 24/7 anytime at newsmarveldc@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter too, at Marvel DC News, and follow us on Instagram, at Marvel DC Movie News. It's all just down the bottom there, in the bottom left corner of the video. If you really like this video, then give it a thumbs up, so let me know that you liked it, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel just to stay up to date with everything going on in the world of Marvel and DC Movie News. So yeah, thumbs up, subscribe. Thanks everyone for listening. My name's David Hutchison, and until next time, bye bye.